there, I'm Olivia. I'm going to be your sleep consultant tonight. Thank you so much for coming in. Have a seat, make yourself comfortable. Yeah. Is this your first time using a sleep consultant? It is. Great. Well, welcome. Let me give you a quick rundown of what to expect. So I'm here to help you improve the quality, timing, and consistency of your sleep using non-medical behavioral strategies. So we're going to work together to identify some factors that might be interfering with your sleep. And then I'm going to create for you a totally custom plan to help you make sustainable changes so that you can get the good night's sleep that you deserve. How does that sound? Okay, great. Yes, I'm happy to help. So tonight we're going to walk through some foundational sleep questions. We'll review your current environment and habits, and I'm going to provide you some recommendations so that you can begin implementing immediately. So you can just relax. I'm going to take a few notes as we go on my laptop here. Do you have any questions before we begin? No? Okay, great. Let's begin. So first question for you. What has you seeking help of a sleep consultant? Like, what problems are you experiencing that you're hoping I can help you with? Okay. And how long have you been experiencing this? Okay, over a year. Yeah, that's no good. I'm glad you're here so that we can help you out today. How long does it typically take you to fall asleep from the moment that you get into bed to the moment that you fall asleep? Okay. Gotcha. And do you wake up during the night? Okay. And how many days a week does that happen? Okay. And then on those nights where you do wake up, how often on each of those nights do you think that you wake up? About 3 times. Okay. And then how long are you awake for each time that you wake up? Okay, a little bit of a range. Okay, that's helpful. I'm making some notes on that. One moment. Okay, great. Moving on. Generally speaking, would you say that you have a consistent or an inconsistent sleep schedule? Okay, yeah. Can you tell me some more about that? Okay. Okay. That's very good to know. And I know that you said that it changes quite a bit, but what are some typical times that you go to bed and wake up? And then waking up? Okay. And does that change at all on weekdays versus weekends? Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely make some notes here. We'll take that into consideration when I make my recommendations for you. 1 second while I jot that down. Okay, great. And how often, actually, first, do you use alarms to help you wake up in the morning? You do? Okay. And how often do you typically snooze your alarm? Okay. Okay. Okay, and then do you have maybe a time of day that you feel like you're most alert? Like early morning, mid-morning, afternoon, after lunch, evening, nighttime? Mid-morning, okay. Great. And would you say that you feel refreshed when you wake up in the morning, or do you feel more groggy and fatigued? Yeah. Okay. And how long would you say that that lasts? A few minutes, a few hours, the whole day? Okay, about an hour. Okay. All right, so then in the morning you feel groggy for about an hour, but then by mid-morning, that's when you start feeling more pepped up and is actually where you feel the most energetic. Did I get that right? Yeah, okay. Great. Okay, next question. Do you ever take naps during the day? Occasionally? Okay. And when you do, how long do you typically nap for? Okay. And do you notice any patterns with these naps? Like, is there a certain situation that makes you more likely to nap during the day? Heavy meals. Yeah, that's very relatable. That's a classic, of course. Anything else? Long days in the sun. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, let me mark that down. Do you have like a job or a hobby that puts you in the position where you have many long days in the sun? Okay, that's good to know. Right. Okay, yeah, I'll mark that. Okay. All right, next question is one that everybody hates, so please don't hate me. But do you use any screens like your phone, a tablet, the TV in the hour before you go to sleep? Yeah, no judgment here. I'll mark it down though. Okay. And have you yourself maybe noticed any patterns that affect your sleep? Maybe things like stress, caffeine, late meals, noise levels, lights in your room, anything like that? Uh-huh. Okay, let's write that down. Okay. All right, next question. At what time do you drink your last caffeinated drink for the day? 5 p.m.? Okay. And do you consume alcohol? And if so, how much? None. Okay. That's good. And at what time of the day do you typically eat your last meal or your last snack before bed? Okay. And would you generally consider that more of like a whole meal or more of like a snack? A snack. Okay, got it. Yeah, after dinner snack. Yum. Okay, got that noted. Okay, and next we're going to talk a bit about your sleep environment. Do you live with others, maybe a partner, children, pets? Uh-huh. Okay. And do you share a bed with any of them? Okay. And how do you find that that affects your sleep quality? Does it affect it at all? Helps you sleep better. That's very good. Okay. Okay, and is your room generally quiet or is there any noise? Perhaps the noises of others in the house, maybe outside noises, or maybe even noises that you enjoy, like TV, white noise, something like that. Uh-huh. Okay. So you like falling asleep to relaxing videos. Yeah, great. I'll note that. Do you watch that on your phone, a tablet, the TV? Okay. Perfect. And do you tend to sleep with your bedroom door open or closed? Okay. And would you classify yourself as a back sleeper, a side sleeper, or a stomach sleeper? Okay. Great. And do you ever use your room or your bed for purposes outside of sleeping or intimacy? Things like doing work in bed, watching TV in bed, things like that? Okay. Okay, so when you say occasionally, how often would you say that that is? Are we talking a few times a week, once a week, not even every week, once a month, you know? A couple times a month. Okay. And is it just working in bed from your laptop? Is there anything else? Okay, that's it. Okay, next, can you tell me about the lighting situation in your sleep environment? So what lights are in your room at night, big or small? So I'm talking things so small that it could be like an ambient light from an electronic device, like that tiny light that you see on a TV, for instance. Any light sources at all. Yeah, sure. Take a moment to think about it. Okay. Okay, and a night light in the hallway. Do you see that? You said you sleep with the door closed, so do you see that night light from the hallway creeping under your door or around your door? You can see a little bit. Yeah, okay. Okay. And how many windows do you have in your room? Okay. And do you use any blinds or curtains on that window? Blackout curtains, very good. And if you don't mind me asking, what color are those blackout curtains? Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, the color can affect how well they actually black out the light. So like some of the lighter color blackout curtains don't really block out the light very much. Glad yours are a dark color, that's good. And as for your blinds, what sort of blinds do you have? Are they like plastic, wood? Are they mini blinds, vertical blinds, shutters? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And so even with your blinds and the curtain, how much sunlight do you find comes out or comes in the morning? Okay, and even with the blinds and the curtain, how much sunlight do you find comes in still in the morning when the sun comes up? A little bit. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the blackest black and 10 being extremely bright, how bright would you say that morning sunlight is through the blinds and the curtain? Like a 3. Okay, so it sounds like there's a little bit of opportunity there. I'll write that down. Okay. Next, let me ask you a few questions about temperature. In your home, do you use a heater or an air conditioner? Okay. And what temperature do you have it set at? Okay. Okay, got it. And how do you feel about the temperature when you go to sleep and throughout the night? Do you find yourself waking up hot or cold, anything like that? Okay. Okay, but then when you wake up, you're able to turn on the overhead fan in the middle of the night? Okay. Not ideal. I'll mark that down though. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about your bedding situation. So first, let's talk about your pillow. Do you find your pillow comfortable, uncomfortable? Any struggles there? Okay. So quite a few different tries, and you still haven't felt like you found your right one yet? Yeah. Some feel too flat, some feel too high. Yeah, it's difficult finding that Goldilocks. We can help you with that. Okay. I've written that down. So the next, what about your bed? How do you feel about your bed or your mattress? Good. Very happy. That's very good. Great. And what about your bedding? So like your blankets, your sheets, do you find them comfortable, too hot, too cold, too scratchy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is annoying. Okay. Yeah, so the fitted sheet is coming up along the edges and you're finding that frustrating. Yeah, that's understandable. I'll note that as well. Okay. Now this last batch of questions are going to be some health questions. So if you want to skip any, just let me know. But it does help when giving you some behavioral recommendations. So first, are you on any prescriptions? Okay. And what dosage? And is that each day? Once a day? Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. And do you have any medical conditions that you'd be comfortable sharing, even ones that may seem unrelated to your sleep issues? Okay. Great. And has anyone ever told you that you snore? No. Okay. And have you ever experienced restless legs at night? Great. Okay. And how would you describe your stress levels? Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being extremely stressed. Good. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Understandable. And have you tried anything on your own to help with your sleep problems? That could be maybe meditation, maybe taking melatonin, anything that you might have seen that you've tried. Okay. Okay, so you take melatonin from time to time. How often would you say? Okay, that's good. And when you do take it, how much do you generally take? Okay. Anything else that you've tried? Okay. Okay, great. All right, so thank you so much for answering all of those questions for me. This really gives me a very solid overview about where you are, where your problems may be, and I have an idea of how I can help you. First, let's talk about your chronotype. So, given what you've told me, you sound like you have a bear chronotype, which puts you in good company because about half the population are also bear chronotypes. So what this means is that your natural sleep cycle is to follow the sun. So you're not really an early bird, you're not really a night owl, you're somewhere right in the middle. And this is helpful to know for me because I can make sure that your plan jives with your natural chronotype. So with that being said, I'm going to go over a few of the observations that I noted. So these are going to be things that over the next few weeks I'm going to work with you on, but we're not going to cover them all today. In a moment, I'll give you your personalized plan that you'll start today. It won't cover all of the issues, but we're going to start slowly, gradually, and sustainably moving in the right direction. So some of the observations I've noted are that you struggle with both falling asleep and staying asleep. You don't consume alcohol, which is very good, but you do consume caffeinated drinks late in the afternoon sometimes. You struggle with consistent sleep times, especially with weekdays versus weekends. You have some sunlight coming into your room in the morning. Not much, but a little bit. Let's see. You do sometimes work in bed from your laptop, but not too often, so that's good. You mentioned that you aren't satisfied with your pillow and you've struggled to find a good one. So before you leave, I'm actually going to give you a printout of an after visit summary, and on there I'm going to have some recommendations of different pillows that you can try. Maybe look up some reviews and see which one you might try, might fit in your budget. But those are ones that my clients have had some good success with. That'll be included on the after visit summary. Next, you're annoyed at how the fitted sheet on your bed comes up a lot. There's actually solutions to that too, and I'll also include where you can buy those little clips. I use them on my bed. I'd recommend them, so I think that would be very good. And finally, you do occasionally, but not very often, take melatonin to sleep. So based on those observations, I'm going to create a totally personalized plan for you. It's really important that the changes you implement are ones that are truly sustainable. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through some of the ideas that we can start with to help you in the areas where you struggle. And then I'm going to count on you to tell me if that idea sounds like it's something that you could reasonably implement. I just really ask for you to be honest with me and honest with yourself about how doable these ideas are. Something that is really important in this sleep consultation is that we implement changes in a way that is slow, steady, sustainable, not changing too much at once. So if I'm pushing you, we don't want that. We want gradual changes. So is that something we can do together? Great. Thank you. You're awesome. Okay, so I have 5 recommendations to get you started. Again, these are the first ones that we'll work on. And next time we see you, we'll see how these worked out for you, and we'll adjust, and I might add some new ones in to help you with some of the other areas that you're struggling with. But first, I know you enjoy falling asleep watching relaxing videos on your phone. If that works for you, we don't want to change that. However, I would recommend that you use the setting on your phone that turns your screen more warm colored at night. This is something that I use myself. I have it automatically turn on at 7 p.m. and then I have it automatically turn off at 7 a.m. every morning. Is this something that you think that you could do? Great. Okay. Excellent. I'll include instructions for both an Apple phone and Android phone in that after visit notes that I'm going to print out for you. Okay, great. So number 2 is going to be to establish a night routine that you do every single night before bed. So what I'm hoping you can do is the same things in the same order every night. So as an example, that might look like you use the bathroom, then brush your teeth, then wash your face, then put on PJs, then turn off the light and get into bed. And every single night, you would do exactly that order. When you do the same things in the same order every day, it tells your body that it's time for sleep, and sleep should come more easily after a couple of weeks of doing that. How do you feel about that recommendation? Yeah, I mean, just if you could just try to be as consistent as you can be, and do what you can do, that'll be great. Yeah, like I said, we're looking for incremental progress. So if you don't think you could do it every single night, let's just try to do it on most nights and see how that works out for you. Again, this is like all an experiment. So I'm going to give you some recommendations. You can try the ones that you think you can try, and then you tell me how it works out for you, and we'll go from there. We can adjust as needed. Yes, of course. Okay, so then the third suggestion is to use an eye mask when you sleep. I actually have one here. This is the one that I use. It's about $17 from Amazon. And you can see that it's really soft on your face. They have these divots here for your eyes, so it doesn't put any pressure on your eyeballs or your eyelashes like sometimes some of the cheaper ones do. It just encircles your eyes, so it blocks out the light completely from the sides. Is that an idea that you'd be interested in trying? Yeah, okay, great. I really love mine. I use it every night. Okay, just writing that down really fast. Yeah, that's helpful context, thank you. I'll include the Amazon listing for this one that I enjoy in your printout before you leave. Okay, so then my 4th recommendation is to only use your bed for sleep or for intimacy. I know you said that you only work from your bed occasionally, but I just really advised against doing that. It's important that your brain associates bed with rest. Yeah, Yeah, hopefully that'll be easy for you since you don't really do it very often anyway, but we just want to keep it really consistent. Okay, my last recommendation for you today is maybe the tough one, so don't hate me. And that's going to be to avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. You said that you regularly have a late afternoon caffeinated drink, and I know it could be really tough. But if you could try, again, just as an experiment, to try to not have caffeine after 2 p.m. and let me know how that goes. Next time we meet, you can tell me how it goes and we can adjust from there. Is that something you're willing to try? Yeah. I just want to make sure that's not pushing too far because I know caffeine habits are really strong, trust me. Yeah. Yeah, if you could just give it the old college try. If it isn't working out for you, feel free to stop and just let me know the next time we meet and we can adjust from there. Great. Okay, so that's it for today. Bear with me a moment here. I'm going to print out that after visit summary. Okay, so it's going to be 2 pages long. It's going to have the plan that we just discussed, and it will have where you can purchase some of the products that I recommended to you today. While that prints, we can actually go ahead and schedule for your next appointment if you'd like. Yeah? Okay, fantastic. Let's see. Grab my pen and my planner. Let's see. Does this day of the week and time of day work for you? Yeah, okay. Get to the right day. Okay. So it looks like I have next Monday at 6 available. Does that work for you? Okay, great. Okay, great. Got that for you. And looks like the printer is complete. Let's see. Page 1, page 2. Okay, I'll hand these to you. And what are we missing? I actually have something for you. So we'd like to provide, grab it, a free journal. So this journal is for you so you can jot down any notes or observations. Again, I'm going to say it for like the 5th time, but everything's an experiment, so you can jot down anything that you notice about trying those 5 different things that we talked about. And you can bring this back with you and so that you can share it with me, and I'll let you know how we can adjust things to work best for you. Yeah, here you go. Okay. Is there anything else that I can help you with today? Okay. Well, this was a really great first visit. Thank you so much for being so open and so honest so that I can provide you the best care plan as possible. I really wish you the best of luck with getting some better sleep, and I'll see you next Monday, okay? Great. Thank you. Bye.